All right, good evening. Welcome to I apologize. I'm at school today. Sorry. Um, Good afternoon. Welcome to Long's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I am pleased to call this meeting of the Long Go Team to order at 5:35. Our first order of business is to call roll and review our norms. The secretary will now take roll.
I'm sorry, hold on. Ms. Hall, are you present?
Present.
Okay. Mr. Murphy, are you present?
Present.
Ms. Dionese, are you present? Yes, I'm present. Ms. Boston, are you present? She is absent. Ms. Starr-Clark, are you present?
Yes.
Hello. And Ms. Chandra Tullis, are you present? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to call on you, Ms. Chandra. Ms. NJ, are you present?
It's okay.
Thank you, Ms. NJ. Okay. Mr. Webb, are you present? No. And Ms. Chandra Vaughn, are you present? That's it.
This team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Ms. Dionese, is there a quorum present?
Yes, there is a quorum present.
All right. Now, our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes that needed to be made to the agenda?
If anybody needs it, the agenda is in the chat. There's a link to the agenda in the chat.
All right. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that the agenda be approved as read.
A second?
Don't nobody want to second it?
I second that motion.
All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions, please identify yourself or raise your hand. All right. The meeting minutes have been approved. Okay, so we will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Ms. Dionese dropped those in the chat.
I just put them in there again in case anybody came in after I put it in the first time.
Thank you. Are there any corrections? No. Okay. If there are no further corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
A second.
Second that.
Oh, thank you, NJ. She put it in the chat too, Miss Dionese. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye. All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions, please identify yourself or raise your hand. All right, we will now move to the discussion items on our agenda. We will now move to the next item of business, the budget approval presentation. Principal McCoo, please share with us your final budget presentation.
Okay, at this time, I'm about to share my screen. Will you all please let me know if you're able to see my screen? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today we will be going over our final budget for the fiscal year 25. Our norms for this budget review will be as they have been previously. This is a meeting of the GO team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task, and we will respect all ideas and assume good intentions. Again, Ms. Hall has stated our agenda for today, and we have already gone through steps 1 through 6, and now we are here at step 7. The GO team will actually have our final budget approval meeting, and today we will have action items, which would be to approve. What is the budget approval meeting? During this meeting, GO team will review the budget, which should be updated on feedback from the staffing conference, associate superintendents, and key leaders. After review, GO teams will need to take action on the FY25 budget. Why? Why do we go through this process? Principals will present the final budget recommendations for GO team approval. And when will this happen? All approval meetings must be held after staffing conferences. Budgets must be approved by March 15th. Now, for our budget review. Our budget parameters were based off the school priorities identified by the GO team. Those priorities are increased reading and Lexile and writing of 6th to 8th grade students. Why do we want to do that? Because our data indicates that students often come to us more than 2 to 3 grade levels behind. And there is a need to support literacy in the school to support student achievement in all content areas. Our net priority, utilize data to meet the individual needs of students, including systems and resources to identify and address root causes to promote social and academic growth. Our rationale, ensure that students are receiving maximized personalized learning opportunities for achievement, remediation, and enrichment data. Our next priority is to maximize wraparound services, which include, but are not limited to, the school nurse, social worker, and counselors. Due to barriers that many of our families face, there's a need for supports that assist both scholars and their families to remove any barriers presented from the student attending school and achieving. Our next priority identified, maximize the intervention block daily in reading and mathematics. Dedicated time for students to receive specific interventions and or enrichment in ELA and mathematics. Transitioning to specific classes will allow instructional time to be added back to those classes. Our next priority, provide intensive tier instructional support for teachers on Tier 1 instruction. Due to the changes in standards and the lack of consistent professional learning opportunities, focus on effective Tier 1 instruction to meet the needs of all learners. And our last priority, recruit, develop, and retain highly talented faculty and staff. And I do apologize for that error in spelling, while building teacher and leader capacity. And the rationale, to provide internal and external professional learning opportunities, ensure that instructional coaches are provided professional learning opportunities that be delivered to faculty and staff members alongside distant learners. Now, of course, we are a STEM school, so all of those priorities will be also making sure that the STEM practices and those focus are made as far as our signature program. Here's some descriptions of strategic plan breakout categories. First, there are the priorities. And those, of course, are from our strategic plans, and they are ranked in the order of importance. The APS 5 focus area. What part of the APS 5 focus, what part of the APS 5 is the priority aligned to? Strategies, lays out specific objectives for school improvement. Request, the ask, what needs to be funded in order to support the strategy? And last, the amount, what cost is associated with this request? Now, we have our priorities that we have identified in front of us. And now you will also see the breakout plan for FY25. Now, our first priority was focusing on increasing the reading and Lexile level of all students. The area of focus based on APS 5 is fostering academic excellence. The strategies that we're going to use are providing ongoing intervention to ideal students. And with that, on both, we're going to utilize the EL instructional coach, and also with this, we're also going to utilize our intervention teacher in reading. But you will see that position also on another slide to support the active intervention slide. But the ELA intervention teacher will also be someone who will be supporting the need of increasing our reading and Lexile scores across all grade levels. Our next priority, utilizing data to meet the individual needs of students, including systems and resources that identify and address root causes to promote social and academic growth. That focus area would be creating a system of school support. Our strategies build parent, family, and community capacity and engagement for all nationalities to understand student academic and whole child needs. And the request would be 3 full-time counselors. Each counselor would be $132,339. That includes benefits for a total of $397,016. And I do apologize, the ELA coach, our first priority would be an amount of $130,540. Our next priority is to maximize our wraparound services. Again, the area of focus would be building a culture of student support. Our strategy, implement social-emotional learning, or SEL, restorative practices, implement strategies to motivate, engage, and build self-directed scholars with a sense of autonomy, choice, and responsibility in their action. Our request is for a clinical therapist, social worker, full-time, an MTSS specialist, school nurse, and other wraparound supports. Now, the totals for that, the clinical therapist, $110,459. Social worker full-time, $119,395. MTSS specialist, $125,059. And a school nurse, $115,384. That gives a total, and again, all these salaries do include benefits, of $470,297. Our next priority, to inform and engage school families, partners, and community members. The focus area is creating a system of school support. Our strategy will be to build parent, family, and community capacity and engagement for all nationalities to understand student, academic, and whole child needs through parent engagement. Our request will be a full-time parent liaison, and that amount is $51,871. Now I will move to the next slide, which is a continuance of our strategic plan breakdown. Our next priority is to maximize the intervention block daily in reading and mathematics. Our priority area, focus area is fostering academic excellence. Our strategy is to provide targeted intervention in ELA and mathematics to identified scholars. Our request is 1 ELA intervention teacher and 1 mathematics intervention teacher. Each teacher is $105,724, which gives a total amount of $211,000 $448. Our next priority is to provide intensive tiered instructional support for teachers on Tier 1 instruction. Again, that is also embedding our signature program of STEM with that to make sure that instruction is provided at the Tier 1 level. Our focus area is equipping and empowering leaders and staff. Our strategy is to provide teachers with tiered professional development on Tier 1 instruction. Our request is an ELA coach, a math coach, and a STEM coach. Our math and ELA coach, those positions are at the amount of $130,540. Those two positions have a total of $261,080. And our STEM coach have a salary of $125,526, including benefits. And those three positions, those three requests have a total of $386,606. And our final priority is to recruit, develop, and retain highly talented faculty and staff while building teacher and leader capacity. Our focus areas is equipping and empowering leaders and staff. Our strategies is to provide targeted professional development based on research-based best practices. And our request is 3 assistant principals. Those positions, of course, those will be the individuals supporting and providing that PD alongside the coaches. And those 3 positions at $153,710 give you a total of $461,130. Now, right here, you will actually see the created and removed positions that we discussed based off of the funds that we had prior to the addition. The created position was an ESOL position, and again, that position is created, but it does not come out with general funds for Long Middle School, but that is a position that we will be earning based off of batch earnings. Now, our removed position, 2 science teachers and 2 social studies teachers. And our CIS, that position was removed because that is not paid for out of the school's general budget, and also removed prior to the additional funds was a non-instructional aid. Now, there were some changes at the staffing. There was actually an increase of funds. That increase was $141,231. Now, based off those increase of funds, now there were some changes based off the standards of service that had to be made. Initially, we had 2 non-instructional aides, but based off the standards of service, we must have an ISS monitor. All middle schools and high schools must have an ISS monitor. The duties of the ISS monitor are somewhat similar of that of the non-instructional aid, but the only duties that will now change would be that of making sure they serve as a liaison with the parents to create behavior plans. So that was a change based off of standards of service, but they did not have an effect on our budget. It was just a change as far as the position. And also, due to the increase of funds, we were able to, instead of the abolishment of 2 social studies teachers, we were able to reduce that to 1. Those were the only changes that were made after the staffing conference based off the increase of funds that were made. Now, in front of you, you will see an updated list based off of our fiscal year 25 and the budget functions. You will see an updated list. As far as instruction, we will have 65.7 FTE, meaning 65.7 staff members in the building, which is a total of $6,915,735. And the number on the right is the per pupil amount. For pupil services, we will be spending $729,503. For improvement of instructional services, $388,106 have been allocated. For instructional staff training, you will see additional information on that on some of the next slides that you will see. For educational media services, $123,029. For school administration, that includes instructional coaches, assistant principals, and principal, $836,876. For maintenance and operations, $181,297. And for transportation, currently we have $6,000. Currently, that is our budget in total, and that gives us a total of spending for fiscal year 25, $9,180,545, or $14,665 per pupil. Now, we will have a discussion in regards to our reserve and holdback fund. For fiscal year 25, we have $105,051 in our reserve. Now, of course, we did talk about our Tier 1 instruction, but another priority identified is to increase the level of rigor and relevance of STEM implementation. The focus area is fostering academic excellence for all, and our strategy is to increase our STEM professional development school-wide, and our request would be ongoing STEM professional development, and that total cost, if for that reserve, would be $25,051. And our next priority for the reserve would be to utilize data to meet the needs of individual students, including systems and resources that identify and address root causes to promote social and academic development. And that focus area is creating a system of school support. Our strategy will be to build parent, family, and community capacity and engagement for all nationalities to understand student academic and whole child needs. And now, this request would be for an actual CIS liaison, because our current position is funded from the district, and if there are needs, because we do have a lot of students who have barriers presented in front of them for them coming to school, so the ask would be for the funding of our CIS liaison to support our needs for identifying and addressing those root causes those students have, preventing them from not only coming to school, but academic achievement. At this time, here are some questions for the GO team to consider and discuss as we have this discussion. Are our school's priorities from our strategic plan reflected in this budget? Are new positions and/or resources included in the budget to address our major priorities? Do we know, as a team, the plan to support implementation of these priorities beyond the budget? What strategies will be implemented? What trade-offs are being made in order to support these priorities? How are district and cluster priorities reflected in our budget? Cluster priorities. What staff, materials, etc. are dedicated to supporting our cluster priorities? Signature programs. What staff, materials, etc. are dedicated to supporting our signature program? Are there positions at our school share that are there positions our school will share with another school? For example, nurse, counselor. At this time, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open the floor for any questions. So I'm going to stop sharing at this time.
All right, I have one question. And I know you said that the position would be repeated, but for the ELA coach. So I saw that the price was repeated too. Was it taken out that second time for on the second page?
Let me go back in and open it back up.
Yes, because I think it was counted in there twice. Because I know the position is repeated, but I think that her funds were calculated twice. So there could be some extra money we might have.
Okay, I'm about to pull it back up. Hold on, let me reshare, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying at the first one and at the
second one. So that because her budget, the price is in there twice. Because I know her name is on there twice.
Yes, I
but
do
then-
see what you're talking about, because it was at the first priority, and then when I went and said the three, so, and I'm gonna project that so everyone can see what Ms. Hall is talking about. Thank you, Ms. Hall, for catching that.
You
So that means there was an error with a number that I did put up there, so there must have been a position that I did not write, because on the actual document that I have to see as a principal, it did balance out 0 without the budgets repeating, but I'm about to reshare my screen so they can see exactly what you're talking about. Now, Ms. Hall is referred to the first one. You see where it says increase the reading and lexile levels. You see the ELA coach is there. And then in the second one, you see where it says ELA coach. And Ms. Hall, based off of our first meeting, because I think the first meeting we had that discussion also, that right there, I do need to remove the second one because I did count her in the first one based off the spreadsheet. So that was
Okay.
an error on my part, so I do apologize.
Okay. And so I saw where you said ISS, that position is coming back, and the 2 science and the 2 social studies, and the communities and school positions, those were removed. So for the ISS, because I think when you explained it, you're just gonna take one of those social studies people and put them, well, that social studies position, allocated funds, would that be that? Or,
No, initially, the first meeting, it was 2 social studies, 2 science. But now, because of the additional funds, we were able to decrease that from 2 social studies to 1 social study.
and still 2 sciences, or
Yes.
is those science? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I was confused. Thank you.
And is the CIS position, is that just gonna be funded with another pool of money, or is that position gonna be completely abolished?
Currently, right now, because it was not paid for out of our general funds, that position currently, because we don't have the funds to acquire that, is going to be probably removed from the building. But if those reserve funds are released, that is a request for that position to be placed back in, if funds are released.
Okay, with that being said, so you know how would that happen after school has already started? And so
Yes.
if those funds are released, we'll be able to put out a call for that position and just.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure how the process works, but I have been in contact with the liaison from CIS. So we have been in contact. So that'll be a conversation that I could have with her tomorrow, because during the budgeting process, we have been, discussing how does it look. So I can address that with her tomorrow. How will the process go if it happens after school? Let's say if the funds are released in October. Would that be an opportunity for us to just reach out and say, okay, we do have the funds now, we would like that position to start now. So I will reach out to inquire about that. Are there any other questions? And I do want to go on and say, especially at the 6th and 7th grade level, because we based off of our last meeting, we did have that discussion. There will be the standards of service require students to have a certain amount of time every class. So with that, for 6th and 7th grade, it will be an A-day, B-day rotation. The normal, but I'm going to finish it out because it's not going to, A-day, B-day rotations with that, it's not your standard 5 day. 5 days can go into the next week. So with that, a student may have 80 minutes in a class, but that will span over 4 or 5 days to meet that standards of service. So it's not to whereas it's going to be A-day, B-day, A-day, just like Connections, it will roll over to the next. So the standards of service, because I really had to question that because I was very concerned. But 270 minutes on an A-day, B-day rotation looks different compared to a 5 days a week rotation. But students will receive, and even with the teachers, because I did, and the team and I, we really to look into that to make sure teachers would not be bombarded or they would have too much on them. But with that rotation, it will still give the same number of students in the class. It will not increase the class size. But at the same time, we're looking at resources because we know things such as Google Classroom and other interactive platforms, especially for social studies such as Gallup-Aid, is somewhat can release a lot of the grading stress off of teachers if necessary. So that will also be something we utilize, especially in 6th and 7th grade, to make sure that teachers have support in those classes. But again, it's going to look a little different, but it will be an A-day, B-day, and 80 minutes with those students in those classes.
So will their A-day, B-day, so the whole school be on the same thing? Follow Connections A-day, B-day? No, I know 8th grade won't, but our Connections is already doing A-day, B-day. So you know how Miss Delnice has the calendar already planned. She prints it out. So will Connection A-day, B-day be the same as 6th and 7th grade A-day, B-day?
That would make it easier for the students.
Oh, yes.
So when we sit down and plan, because of course, middle school students sometimes so we're going to make it easier for the students and for the teachers. So Ms. Hall, can you make sure you jot that down? That will make it very much so easier for the students. And remember, all of these are based on our student enrollment. So we still want to, and we did have that conversation, we want to make sure that we still promote Long Middle School. And I know that our STEM coordinator, STEM/science coach, we're in the process of finding ideas of ways to make creative videos to promote Long Middle School. So that means if we continue to increase in our enrollment, that possibly next school year, if those increases, we could gain those positions back. So the biggest thing is to promote Long in a positive manner because there are great things happening. So we can ensure that not only we increase our enrollment, but those positions are possibly placed back in the school because of that increase in enrollment. Are there questions? Ms. Hall?
All right, thank you, Principal Muku, for sharing that information. I will now entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I move that the budget be approved as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Jameson, for approving that budget. Can I have a second?
I second.
Thank you for seconding that. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions, please identify yourself or raise your hand. All right. Everybody approved the budget. Discussion item number 2 is our security grant survey. The governor will be proposing a grant aimed to enhance security in schools statewide. If approved by the Georgia General Assembly, this grant will allocate $45,000 annually to each school. In light of this potential opportunity, the Operations Division is eager to gather insight from the GO team regarding the most effective ways to utilize this grant to enhance security within your school. Your input is invaluable in ensuring that these resources are allocated in a manner that will maximize their potential on the safety and well-being of our students and staff. The survey should be completed by March the 29th to ensure that your input is considered in the planning process. Principal Muku, may you please provide the survey and facilitate this discussion?
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to reshare. And please let me know if you're able to see the survey.
Yes.
Okay. As Ms. Hall stated, the Georgia DOE School Security Enhancement Grant, it will provide each school $45,000 annually. Our goal today is to prioritize our need regarding this grant. First, I'm going to scroll down to show you all the different options. And the question is, how would you prefer to spend your school's $45,000 annual school security? The first option we have is for a school resource officer. Annual SRO salary plus benefits is approximately $100,000 per year. And the school's budget will be responsible for covering the entire cost in subsequent years. This option comes with a high degree of risk. Metro area police departments for the past 2 years have struggled to fill large numbers of police vacancies. We cannot guarantee your SRO position will be filled. APS currently has 30 middle school and high school SRO vacancies. If you choose an SRO option, the district cannot guarantee the position will be filled. Your community should be advised. If you choose this option, the SRO will be managed by the district police department. And once an SRO is hired for your school budget, will be responsible for the SRO salary and benefits year over year, unless there's a vacancy somewhere else in the district to reassign the office. That is the first option. The second option is to share an SRO with another school. Annual SRO salary benefits, again, approximately $100,000 per year. School's budget would be responsible for covering the entire cost. The option comes with a high degree of risk, and those risks are the same that were listed above for our school resources. The next option is to add ballistic film to windows. The cost, 215 square feet of window area, will cost approximately $44,000. The next option is fencing for the school. The next option is additional exterior lighting. The next option is student ID systems. Our next option is additional badge readers. The next option is additional interior and exterior camera. Next, we have non-instructional security aid, and that position will be used to man metal detectors, hall monitoring, and camera monitoring. The next option is two-way radio. The next is window coverings and blinds. The next option is additional metal detectors. The next option is clear book bags for students. And then we have the option to add in any additional suggestions we have on how we could possibly spend the $45,000. At this time, and you all let me know if I need to stop sharing my screen or if you all need them to stay up so you can determine how we would like to rank these areas.
So question, are we doing this individually or together as a whole go team?
The final submission is as a go team.
Okay.
So we may need to come up in a manner that we know is most effective to get everybody's vote in, or we may just want to look at maybe our possible, we know will be our top 5, and then after that so however you all think would be most beneficial.
All right, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for the student ID option, and I'm not sure what that 45,000 will cover, but, and I'm not sure if you can answer this question, but I'm wondering, will that be the technology? So like for, if we spent the money on being able to print out the ID and take the picture, if we have all that equipment here, then the following year, that money could be allocated in a different way to enhance security? Or would it be a situation where whatever we pick this year, we have to maintain that option in the future?
Okay, Ms. Boston, I'm not sure as far as the allocation after, if we would, that would have to be something that I inquire about. But I know as far as the student ID systems, that right there would include if we wanted to have someone come out and take the pictures and place it into the campus. So just that process, so it may not, if we needed technology, it would include that, but it also would include just the process of taking their pictures, the sending things and things of that nature.
So this is for each individual school. So let's say
Yes.
if we decide to get the ID system, that doesn't mean the elementary school or the high school will have it either.
That's correct.
And for the non-instructional security aid, that's just somebody sitting in front of the computer watching the screens and stuff. Would they be in-built? Would that be in-sourced or outsourced?
I'm sorry, Ms. Hall. Can you say that last part again?
For the non-instructional security aid, would that person be in the building looking at the cameras or outside of the building?
Yes. Anybody would be housed at Long Middle School. So I'm not sure if you recall a few years ago, we had a school resource officer, and at the same time, we had a security guard in the building.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that. But okay, I get
Okay,
it. I see.
so
it
that
right
would be,
Okay.
Question about the ballistic film. So I'm just asking, one, that's not a lot of coverage, 213 square foot, so
yeah,
probably not
that-
gonna be something we consider, but I was just curious, what does that do? Does it slow down a bullet or will it stop a bullet? Do we know?
Ms. Hall, I mean, not Ms. Hall, Ms. Boston, I have no idea.
Miss Boston, it all depends on what type of bullet it is. So that's it all depends on what type of bullet it is. It can stop certain bullets and slow down certain bullets.
Okay.
But that
I-
ain't that yeah. And the two-way radios, you talking about walkie-talkies for everybody? Nah, we're good on that.
The ballistic film,
Walkie-talkies with the two-way radios, that's not for the entire school.
Oh
So
no.
and some of these things already we have in place at Long Middle School, for
Yeah.
example, the clear book bag, the walkie-talkies. So those things we already have in place. So we're really looking at it. Some things we have already done within the building to promote safety.
Can you go back up so I can read the top?
Mm-hmm.
Cause I'm just trying to see, cause it says annually. So is this something that, oh no, all the way back up. Is this something that they're just trying to put in for a couple of years to see how it goes? Or is this
It
just
does.
something?
Hall. It just says annually if the General Assembly approves it. So if the money
But
runs
of course,
out,
with all grants, there's an ending year. So I don't know if it's a 3-year grant or 5-year
Okay.
grant. So I'm not sure. So I'm not sure of the longevity of the fund.
And
Okay.
Murphy, you were about to say something about the ballistic film. What were you going to say?
yeah, apparently it stops the glass from being shattered, holds it all together when I guess a bullet impacts it. So
Oh,
it
okay.
displaces the energy and it stops the glass from being shattered.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. I'm sorry, you may have said this, but I got knocked out for a minute and had to rejoin. We already have a school resource officer, don't we?
Yes.
So is this money possibly for another one or
Yeah.
a second one? Or
No,
is this
I don't.
money?
It's not for another one.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this would be, if we chose to do like that first option, school resource officer, it would be the school paying for the resource officer that we have now. Who is the school paying for the resource officer now, or is somebody else paying for that?
Currently, it's on our budget line, but it seems as if APS currently is paid for.
So this is them saying, okay, if you choose this, you're taking over responsibility
Uh-huh.
for that 45,000 going to the resource officer.
It's us taking on the responsibility.
And if we don't, then do we not have one anymore?
It was.
I will have to follow up to see, but I'm sure that they would not, because we have had one consistently, but I cannot give you that answer most definitely, so I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
Oh.
And I have a, I guess, question that can maybe be asked. If if you get this, this funding for the SRO, whichever one is decided on, does that free up the money that they have to allow for you to put it in other things, or is it a replacement of, I guess, kind of what Ms. Deonese was saying? And you may not have the answer to that right now. Just saying maybe that's another question to pose.
To be honest, Ms. NJ, I don't know all of the dynamics
Right,
of.
right.
So that question right there, I truly could not answer.
Cool. No
But I
problem.
would say because and I'll reshare with those questions, even as we rank tonight, we do have the option to reach out to Mr. Velasquez to ask follow-up questions. If that's, let's say, for example, if they say, well, you don't have to use your funds if you already have a resource officer, then of course, so I change, we'll reach out.
Okay.
Okay, I like that idea. So it's due on the 29th of March, and today is,
The 6th, so we have
The-
time.
okay. Is there any way that, maybe, if if I look at the survey and do a Google Doc for Google Survey, could I send that out? To get everybody to, complete it, but since it's just one survey together?
Can I, Miss Tullis, I see someone else in the Go Team office. That would be a question that I would ask her, only because I don't know if we could do that off of the actual recording. So,
You all could do that because it's not like an official vote. You
okay.
know what I mean? It's just ranking them. So like sometimes schools will even do that for ranking their priorities, and then they'll come back and discuss. So I don't know. Do you all have another meeting after this one?
No,
This will-
not before the due date on the 29th.
No, but I'm saying if you
Okay.
had one after the 29th, then if you want to send out the survey, you can do that and compile, your rankings so that the principal can submit that to safety and security.
Yes.
And then when you guys come back for your next meeting, you can discuss what was submitted to safety and security.
Okay.
Because again, this all really depends on the state legislature. And so the legislative session is still ongoing, so things may even change with the amount, you know what I mean? It's not final right now anyway. So this is just collecting your thoughts as a team, and that way you can submit them to safety and security. But there will be additional discussion, beyond the 29th, after
Yes.
what happens with the legislative session. So you guys could do that.
Okay. Well, I wanted to do a Google survey so you can rank them yourself, and then we'll be able to do it because our next meeting and the final meeting is on May the 8th. So if you guys don't mind, if you can look out for your email, I have it to you guys by Friday. I'm asking Ms. McCoo if I can create that Google Doc and we could go in and do it that way. And then you'll be able to look at the findings and then we can discuss them also on May 8th. Is that
Okay, and I'll reach out tomorrow to get clarity as far as the SRO especially. Is there anything else that we need clarity on as far as Ms. Boston, do you need clarity in regards to the IDs? And I will get clarity on that to see if the machines would it be, and also the ballistic covering to see would that just be literally that amount of square feet, or would it be to whereas we could get the whole building done for that amount? So I will get clarity on that and provide feedback to Ms. Hall. So then that can make some decisions as far as how we rank.
Question, Ms. Hall, were you considering asking the community as well, or were you just thinking of just us as the people in the
Well,
building?
according to the document on the paper, it's just asked the Go team for their
Yeah.
input.
Well, I
So
know, but
it'll just
to
be
get-
us.
oh, I see what you're saying. So
Yeah, I'm not sending it to the whole school. It's literally just gonna be us. And so that it's not any confusion, I just wanted to rank it so we'll have that documentation and she can get it in before the 29th.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's just us. I'm not sending to the whole school, girl.
That's what I interpret. I thought we just wanted the feedback from the school environment, so that way we can take their thoughts into consideration when we rank them. So I got it now.
Mhm.
But that would have been a good idea, though. Ho.
You're so democratic, Miss Boston.
Right.
That's the social studies teacher in her.
Only outside my classroom.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Ms. McCool.
Okay, announcement. As always, I love to share the great things going on at Cross Lawn. We're about to come upon our final map for the upcoming school year. So with that, of course, we're excited. So students that meet or exceed their growth target, they will receive a special treat. Also, we have started our Saturday School at Long Middle School. The goal of Saturday School is, of course, to focus on those students who just need that additional push in ELA and math, but also science. We have about 35 to 40 students who are coming consistently every Saturday that we have had thus far. So I would like to send a huge shout out to all those students and at the same time their parents and the staff for taking time out on Saturday to come to the school and making sure those students receive that additional support. Also, we will celebrate our Teacher of the Year and Support Person of the Year on this Friday. Our Dynamic Teacher of the Year, Ms. Mika McCreary Mays, and our Dynamic Support Person of the Year, Ms. Shankita Singfield, will be honored on this Friday. So, Go team members, community members, if you would like to come out and celebrate them, please make sure you do so. Also, we have had the opportunity for many of our staff members there currently, and they're in the process of going on not only state, but national professional development. And with that, we hope our teachers have the opportunity to gain knowledge and just from a different view. So they can come back and bring it not only to the staff members, but it can have instruction. As I stated, there are some great things going on at Long Middle School, and we continue to celebrate those things, and we continue to celebrate our staff, teachers, and students who are making those great things happening. Of course, our parents, because without them, we wouldn't have the students to celebrate. Now, APS student survey. We need your feedback. Feedback is needed for the coming school years 25-26, 26-27, and 27-28. Atlanta Public Schools has used widespread community engagement to create 2 calendar options for the following school years. Your feedback through this survey is valuable and will be another important piece of information that the superintendent and the APS School Board of Education will use to make final decisions about our future school calendar. How? Scan the QR code or click the link for the survey. Who? All stakeholders, including students, staff, families, and community members. And this survey is open from February 19th to March 15th. So Go team members, if you have not had the opportunity to complete the survey, please do so. There's a QR code on the screen for you to scan, and there's also a link. If you are connected to Loans Remind system or to our Infinite Campus robocall, this information has already been sent out. So you should have a message from Long Middle School with the link provided for you to provide feedback for the survey. And these are for our Spanish-speaking families and parents. And Go team members, please remember to complete your required trainings, orientation, ethics, and budget, and also to complete the end of the year surveys. Check your email for the link. the Go Team self-assessment, and the principal's feedback. At this time, are there any questions?
I did just want to add to the announcements what Ms. Hall already repeated, that our next and supposed to be final Go Team meeting is Wednesday, May 8th. And I also wanted to jump in. You may see that I'm not, or maybe you can't tell, that I'm not in Atlanta, I'm in Austin, Texas. But I am here for one of the conferences that Ms. McCoo is sending the staff on, and it's been wonderful, and I'm trying to gather as much information for everybody that I can to bring back for the staff.
Thank you, Ms. Delnice, and I'm glad that you made it. I was scared you were not going to get there, but I'm glad that you made it.
I was too.
Okay, at this time, I'd just like to say thank you for each and every one of you jumping on, especially after a long day. So thank you. And if there are no questions or any additional questions, I'm about to turn it back over to Ms. Hall.
All right, thank you guys so much for going ahead and doing your part in the correct order. We had our principal's report, even though I didn't get to say my message. Ms. Delnice with her announcements. Does anybody else have any additional announcement?
I have one.
Yes.
Our spirit night is going to be at the end of the month at Cascade Skating Ring. It is scheduled for March 29th from 6 to 11 p.m. We are inviting Crawford Long students to go skating right before spring break so they can have a last hurrah together before they don't see each other for a week. Pre-sale, the ticket, the pre-sale ticket is $12. It'll be $15 at the door, and hopefully we can add a little bit more to that, but I'm waiting on approval. So I won't announce that just yet, but that is our spirit evening at Cascade Skating Ring. The flyers went out today for most students, but still need to pass out some more. And yeah, hope everyone will be able to join us. And information is coming for our 8th grade parents, because I know I'm getting calls and questions about our 8th grade activities and so forth. So I'm going to put together a newsletter and send that out, and we're going to post on our social media accounts, so that way the parents are informed. And we just need to encourage our kids to take home the flyers to the parents, so they are informed about everything that's going on at Crawford Long Middle School for the 8th graders.
Yes, that will be a great night for family fun, Ms. Boston.
Yeah. And again, thank you, Ms. Boston. Again, our springing into spring break Spirit Week will be from March 25th to the 29th. And it will come with a lot of colorful opportunities for the students. So we look forward to our students springing into spring break with Spirit Week.
Yes,
Oh.
Mr. Murphy.
Also, too, I wanted to bring to the attention for the community that we will be hosting a job fair week between the STEM department and the parent liaison department here at Crawford Long for the parents of the South Atlanta cluster. We will have speaking and typing etiquette classes, resume and cover letter classes, dressing for success, mock interviews, and Friday will culminate with a South Atlanta cluster job fair. So please, parents, come out and support that. Further information will be sent out.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. As you can see, so many great things. I did forget that. And also, even if you need support, attire, the team has that under wraps also. So parents, please make sure you come out. It will be a great opportunity. Long is ready to support you all. So please make sure you come out to our job fair week coming up.
All right, we have so many lovely things going on, and I thank you guys for giving those announcements. We have reached the end of our agenda, unfortunately. Is there any additional business at this time? All right. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move that we join this meeting
Adjourn.
at 6:33.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Can I have a second?
Second motion.
I second.
Second
We got
motion.
2 seconds. All in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Please identify yourself. Okay, our meeting has been adjourned at 6:34. Remember, our next meeting is May the 8th. You guys have a great night.
Everyone have a great evening.
You
All
too.
right, y'all
Bye.
have a good evening.
Have a good one. Have a good one, Miss Denise. You be safe. I'm about to try to save the video now.